Hello, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you enjoyed this legal education content, and today will be the day I earn that subscription. For today's story, we are covering a situation in Arizona where investigators are reviewing officer conduct after a man drowned in a reservoir during a domestic dispute call. Notably, the police were there, and not so much with the attempted rescue, which seems to be a bit of an unfortunate theme as of late, with the police not rescuing. And as we have all learned and discussed many, many times, the police have no affirmative duty to protect you in particular. So yes, they can sit by and watch and do nothing. And sometimes they do, as is being done here. So they're being investigated for some sort of internal discipline, but that's probably about as far as it's going to go. Let's go ahead and discuss the story. State and local agencies will investigate the death of a man in Tempe, Arizona last month, who drowned after police officers responding to a disturbance call did not enter the water to reach the man, city and state officials announced on Monday. Didn't even bother to try. Just happy to stand by the shore side and watch the man drown. We literally expect more from teenage lifeguards, apparently, than we do from trained police, at least in Tempe. In the early morning hours of May the 28th, Tempe police officers found Sean Bickings, 34, and a woman near the reservoir, near the city's Elmore pedestrian bridge, according to a statement. The officers were responding to a call about an alleged fight between Bickings, who the city described as unsheltered, which is a fancy way of saying homeless, not that we care when it's a man, and his companion. The statement said that both Bickings and his partner denied any physical violence had occurred, and neither of them were under arrest. They could have just not talked to the police, by the way. That is always an option, and always a good option, not talking to the police just by the way. Officers were questioning Bickings and running his name through a database to determine if he had any warrants, the city said in a statement. That check had not yet been completed when Bickings decided to slowly mind you, climb over a 4-foot metal fence and enter the water. Apparently, no one was there to prevent him from doing that or attempted to prevent him in any way. Way to go, police department. He swam about 30 to 40 yards before repeatedly indicating he was in distress. The police literally cannot be bothered to care. He soon went under and did not resurface, the statement continued. Way to go, Tempe. Again, we do, in fact, literally expect more from teenage lifeguards, apparently, than the police, who are happy to stand by while a man climbs over the fence, begs for help, and then drowns, or stand by and prevent parents from entering a school, rescuing their own kids. They're happy to arrest them, not so much with stopping the shootings, or any other number of things. The police seem like, they are not there to help, only to hurt. Again, total fail by the police department. Really annoying. The Tempe Officers Association, the union that represents Tempe Police Department, and yes, I don't really like police officer unions for this reason, among others. The idea of police officer unions is not a good idea. Maybe we should just abolish them. That would help a lot. Said in a statement emailed to CNN that officers do not receive training in water rescues and do not have equipment to help people at risk of drowning. Literally, again, expecting more from the teenage lifeguards, apparently. Quote, attempting such a high-risk rescue, in this case, getting into a calm reservoir, so it is still water, is apparently the high risk here, could easily result in the death of the person in the water, which it happened anyway, and the officer, who could be pulled down by a struggling adult. But you didn't even try. Officers are trained to call the fire department. Apparently the fire department has the training. Why not the police department? And or get the Tempe police boat. That is what the officers did. Well, a little too late Tempe police officers, way to go. Way to go. The Tempe Police Department is conducting an investigation into Bicking's death, the city said, adding it may take several weeks, in part because investigators are waiting for results of a medical examiner's report. I'll spoil it for you. The guy drowned. After that investigation is finished, the Arizona Department of Public Safety will receive the findings, the city said. Spoiler alert, the guy died of the drowning. When asked for comment, Department of Public Safety confirmed it agreed to review the investigation, but declined to comment further because the investigation is open and ongoing. I'm sure they will kick open every anthill looking for the mysterious cause of death from the guy who went underwater in the reservoir. Whatever could it be? The 3 officers who initially responded to the call have been placed on non-disciplinary paid administrative leave pending the investigation. This might be my most favorite part at all. When the officers screw up, they get paid vacations, which doesn't seem like much of an incentive not to screw up. I mean, who doesn't love a paid investigation? You know, it reminds me of an old College Humor skit where they're just arguing over how much they're going to discipline the officer. It's like, oh, you're getting 2 weeks vacation. 2 weeks vacation, you wouldn't dare. Oh, yeah? How about 4 weeks all expense paid at this spot? You wouldn't. Kind of like that, except, you know, in the real world. Yeah. Separately, the city has asked nearby Scottsdale police whether or not they're competent, to conduct an administrative review of the critical incident response in an effort to maintain public trust and transparency. I'm sure the public is feeling real good about the police and their water skills right about now. Apparently, if you want to escape the police, water is the way to go. That investigation is also expected to take several weeks. Again, I could save you a lot of time. Police done effed up. Scottsdale Police said Internal Affairs will review the responding officers' actions in relation to policies and training. Well, they're really good with standing by and not doing anything, so there's that. Tempe City Manager Andrew Ching and Police Chief Jeff Glover believe Bicking's death is a tragedy, the city said, adding that Glover has met with Bicking's mother and can explain the cowardice with the not getting in the water. CNN notes that it attempted to reach out to Bicking's family for comment, which I'm sure they have many thoughts. Some of them litigious, maybe. Of course, suing the police, as always, is basically borderline impossible, as we've discussed many times on this channel. But wait, there's more, because there's body cam footage. The city released partial body cam footage of the incident from one officer, as well as it says a transcript of all conversations from the footage that was not released. Note to my editor here. Yes, now would be a good time to insert some of that body cam footage, by the way, since apparently it exists. So we can do that. That'd be good. You know. Yeah. Also note to my editor, if you can either replace the entire screen or you could replace the document I'm reading with the graphics, or what you could black it out and put graphics in that box or something, and that way we keep the Uncivilian's name around, since we want to experiment with this because we don't have my full frame to use. We only have the fraction here. So what we could do is we could just block out the text if we needed and put whatever we're viewing in that box. So there's a note to my editor. Back to the story. The city released partial body cam footage of the incident from one officer, as well as it says a transcript of all conversations from the footage that was not released. The remaining footage from the body cameras of all 3 officers will be released later in the week, the city said, adding it will be edited due to graphic, sensitive nature. Maybe not with the editing. Maybe we should capture the full horror of the reality the police were apparently ignoring. In the body cam footage, Bickings can be seen sitting on a bench and speaking to the police as they stand behind him. Bickings later climbs over the metal fence and enters the reservoir. The police are literally there. At that point, police can be heard telling Bickings, "You're not allowed to swim in the lake." However, Bickings continues to get in the water. Why didn't they try to stop him? They were literally right there. The nearly 12-minute video, which also shows what happened between the couple and Tempe police officers, ends before he starts calling for help. So, yeah, we're not going to show him actually drowning to death because that would be too upsetting. Maybe we should have saved him. In the city's transcript of the remaining video, Bickings says, "I'm going to drown, I'm going to drown." Officers repeatedly tell Bickings to swim to the pylon, and one says, "Okay, I'm not jumping in after you," according to the transcript. I mean, he wouldn't, so, okay, you're drowning, well, drown on, I guess. Officers ask a water rescue team to be dispatched, which I'm sure is not a problem, because the drowning is happening right now, and requested help from the fire department. Why is the fire department better able to handle this? Because they're used to water from the fire hoses? I'm not sure what? In its statement, the police union said the exchange was largely cordial prior to Mr. Bickings entering the lake. He was free to go at any time, the union said. To watch the 11-minute video leading up to Bickings entering Tempe Town Lake and understand how this 911 call ended is to see an awful loss of life. Our grief mirrors our community's grief. Does it, though? Does it? No one wanted to see this incident end as it did. I know a couple people who wanted to see it end that way, the police officers who did the nothing. The city says it's reviewing water response protocols with response to Tempe police and assessing equipment needs for officers and the need for placement of rescue equipment around bodies of water. Sounds promising. Thus, that brings us to the article about the recent wonders of the activities of the Arizona Tempe police, who did jack all to a man in their presence climbing a fence slowly, didn't do anything to stop him, and then when he got in the water, decided not to save him as he slowly drowned. Again, showing that the police are not there to protect you. So we have to protect ourselves. Another great lesson, and that brings us to the end of discussion of this article. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. Until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.